Today on Real Crime Cases. A woman steps onto a plane in Sofia, Bulgaria.
Pre-departure champagne, madam?
Thank you. With pleasure.
Destination, Athens, Greece. She's wealthy, educated, charismatic. She has sold the world a dream called OneCoin. Days later, that dream began to rot from the inside, and the woman at the center of it disappears. Ruja Ignatova did not look like the stereotype of a fugitive. She was polished, confident, highly educated. She spoke multiple languages, including English, German, and Bulgarian, according to the FBI. On stage, she presented herself as the future of money. Not just a businesswoman, not just a founder, a visionary. And in the mid-2010s, that word had power. Crypto was new enough to feel magical. Bitcoin had already made early investors rich. People were hearing stories of ordinary folks turning small amounts of money into fortunes. Ruja stepped into that hunger and offered a simple message. You miss Bitcoin, do not miss this. To understand OneCoin, forget complicated crypto language for a second. Imagine someone tells you they've invented a new kind of gold. They show you the charts. They host huge events. They say the price keeps going up and up and up. They tell you rich people are getting in early. But when you ask, where is the gold? They say, trust us. That is the heart of what investigators say happened with OneCoin. Real cryptocurrencies usually rely on a blockchain, which is basically a public record book. It shows transactions. It lets people verify what is happening. But according to the FBI, OneCoin claimed to have a private blockchain, unlike decentralized public cryptocurrencies. In the FBI's words, investors were essentially asked to trust OneCoin. The company marketed OneCoin as a cryptocurrency. People bought packages, they recruited others. Money poured in from around the world. And the promise was too intoxicating. Buy now, get rich later. Tell your friends, build your network. Watch the numbers rise. OneCoin was not just a website, it was a movement. It used global multi-level marketing network, meaning members could earn commissions for bringing in new buyers. The Justice Department says OneCoin was marketed and sold to millions of victims around the world through that structure. That made it spread like fire through dry paper. People did not just invest. They recruited relatives, friends, co-workers, church members, neighbors. And that is what makes this case so painful. Financial crimes do not always leave blood at the scene, but they can destroy lives. Savings disappear. Families fracture. Retirements collapse. Trust gets poisoned. The DOJ later said victims invested more than $4 billion worldwide into the fraudulent cryptocurrency. The warning signs were there. Investigators say OneCoin's value was not based on normal market demand. The FBI reported that the company determined the value itself, rather than letting the open market decide. That is a giant red flag. Imagine playing poker where one player controls the cards, the chips, the dealer, the scoreboard, and the rules. Then that same player tells you, relax, you're winning. Well, that was the nightmare version of the OneCoin pitch. The numbers on the screen could rise, the crowds could cheer, the stage lights could glow. But if the system behind it was fake, then those numbers were just theater. Then comes the moment that turns this from a fraud case into a fugitive mystery. On October 12, 2017, Ruja Ignatova was charged in the Southern District of New York, and a federal warrant was issued for her arrest. A superseding indictment followed in February 2018. But before the world could get answers, Ruja disappeared. The FBI says that on October 25, 2017, she traveled from Sofia, Bulgaria to Athens, Greece. After that, investigators say she may have traveled elsewhere. And then, silence. No press conference. No public confession. No trial. No dramatic arrest. Just a woman at the center of a multi-billion-dollar storm, gone. The FBI says Ignatova may travel on a German passport and may have traveled to the United Arab Emirates, Bulgaria, Germany, Russia, Greece, and/or Eastern Europe. The FBI also notes that she may have altered her appearance and may travel with armed guards or associates. That last detail changes the entire picture. This is not just a woman hiding in a motel with a wig and a suitcase. This could be a fugitive with money, connections, protection, and a reason to stay invisible. And the question becomes darker. Is she hiding? Is she protected? Did she change her face? Is she living under another name? Or did the people around her decide she knew too much? Ruja vanished, but the case did not. Carl Sebastian Greenwood, who co-founded OneCoin with Ignatova, was sentenced in 2023 to 20 years in prison for his role in the scheme. The Justice Department said millions of victims invested more than $4 billion worldwide. In 2026, the Justice Department announced a remission compensation process for OneCoin victims using recovered forfeited assets. More than $40 million in forfeited assets were available for victim compensation, according to the DOJ. That sounds like a lot of money, but compared to more than $4 billion in alleged victim losses, it's a cup of water thrown onto a burning mansion. The money trail continues, the victims continue, and law enforcement continues looking for Ruja Ignatova. Ruja Ignatova remains wanted. The FBI lists her aliases as Dr. Ruja Ignatova, Ruja Plamanova Ignatova, Ruja P. Ignatova, and Crypto Queen. She was born in Bulgaria, has brown eyes, and had dark brown to black hair, according to the FBI. But investigators warn she may have changed her appearance. The reward is up to $5 million for information leading to her arrest and/or conviction. She sold the future. She vanished into the present. And somewhere, if she is alive, the Crypto Queen may still be watching the world look for her. If you have any information, do not approach her. Contact the FBI. Submit a tip through tips.fbi.gov. Call 1-800-CALL-FBI. And if you're outside the United States, contact the nearest U.S. Embassy or consulate.